That's what they're telling me to come for me. No hesitation when I come forward. I won't let you go. When she telling me to come forward, come for me. That's what they're telling me to come forward. No hesitation when I come forward. I won't let her go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She telling me to come forward, come for me. See, I don't know why finally now I just spoke my mind. I know it's long since we spoke sometime, but this thing no play, I go change your mind. Just give me some time, baby, please. Cause I don't have no time to waste. No more back and forth just like Aliyah. That's all I wanna do right now. Grab it up. So you know me gonna grab it up. Body to body make a bend up on that reeling. Bad man turn you over like a steering. Well, when me gonna grab it up. So you know me gonna grab it up. Body to body make a bend up on that reeling. Bad man turn you over like a steering. But she telling me to come forward, come for me. That's what she telling me to come for me. No hesitation when I come forward. I won't let you go. When she telling me to come forward, come for me. That's what she telling me to come forward. No hesitation when I come forward. I won't let her go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She telling me to come forward, come for me. That's what they're telling me to come for me. No hesitation when I come forward. I won't let you go. When she telling me to come forward, come for me. That's what they're telling me to come forward. No hesitation when I come forward. I won't let her go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's telling me to come forward, come for me. I don't know why finally now I just spoke my mind. I know it's long since we spoke sometime, but this thing no play, I go change your mind. Just give me some time, baby, please. Cause I don't have no time to waste. No more back and forth just like Aliyah. That's all I wanna do right now. Grab it up. So you know me gonna grab it up. Body to body make a bend up on that reeling. Bad man turn you over like a steering. Well, when me gonna grab it up. So you know me gonna grab it up. Body to body make a bend up on that reeling. Bad man turn you over like a steering.
He just killed it.
You raised the decision to play Thiago. Klopp doesn't change the system. Move back left. You don't want to change from the 4-3.
Thing muted. Why is my thing muted? What's going on, people? We're back again on the Dre James Show, and we've got another tactics board for you. Liverpool managed to edge past Brentford with a 1-0 win. The record breaker himself, Mo Salah, with the goal, 100th Anfield goal, 30th goal in all competitions for Mohamed Salah. That's happened for the 4th time in 6 seasons now for Salah. Immense consistency. And look, enables Liverpool to go 6 in a row now. So that's 6 W's in a row. Really trying to make a late charge for that top 4 place. And with United playing currently, I thought, why not discuss it right now as United are in turmoil, battling through a difficult West Ham, and we know how difficult West Ham can be as well. So guys, big up to everyone in the building. Make sure we're smashing the like, make sure we're hitting the notification bell to stay tuned in as well. And make sure you're commenting in the live chat also. I'm going to get into the live chat now and see what the man, them, and the people are saying. We've got Aman Singh in the building saying we got a bit lucky, but then again, did we really? Because we had much better chances and Alisson didn't really do too much, really. Still a meaty performance, but ref was a waste, man. Big up to Aman Singh. Hope you're doing well. We've got Anfield Road End in the building. LVFC TV. Big up to Baz. Make sure we're heading over to Baz as well. Froggy saying penalty. I don't know what you're talking about, mate. I don't know what you're talking about, but amazing image if that's signed by all the players in Istanbul. That is amazing. We got man like John in the building. Big up to John saying like and subscribe, folks. Big up to yourself. We're en route to 2K people, so please make sure we're subscribing. Every subscriber helps. We're currently on about 1,150. So the small goal is 1,200, but we're aiming big. So 2,000 subs is the massive aim before the start of next season. I think that's possible. Now we got K-Mac in the building. Big up to K-Mac. We got Psychedelic Scientist as well. We got Revenite in the building. We got Cesar in the building saying, I really, really hope we don't get a top 4. Listen, we're going to talk about that, man. We're going to talk about that. Trudeau saying the F. Listen, we're going to talk about that. Psychedelic saying De Gea had a shambles. The Bozo, yeah, he has. Froggy saying you had penalty in your title before, bro. Did I? We're gonna have to play that one and just ignore that one. That mishap by myself. But big up to everyone, man. Well, look, we went into that game. A lot of us in the preview went and predicted 3-1s, 4-1s, 4-0s, 3-2s. And then we said Brentford's going to be tricky. And look, they caused us. I know it was a really, really good game because we dealt with their set pieces a lot. Alisson didn't have to make a lot of saves. But they always looked like a threat. I think Brentford always looked like a threat. I think Tony really showed why, for me, he's one of the best strikers in the Premier League. His ability to go and draw fouls, get and hold the ball up really, really well. Playing down the middle. I think that's what a lot of us expected from Darwin Núñez, being able to mix it up, go in behind, come short, go in behind. And look, Tony's a much, much more refined player, but that's a great, great example to go and obviously talk about. Great, look, decent start from Brentford. We were decent as well. And then they cut us open. I mean, look, they got the goal. That was offside from Mbomo. And boy, I mean, that would look risky playing offside, but we know that's the way that we like to go and play. So look, overall, decent performance. I think standout. Jones, Trent, yet again, really, really doing well in their new respective roles or kind of positions. Jones not necessarily positioned, but playing a bit more advanced. Running a team has really, really established himself as one of the main midfielders in the Liverpool team. That poses a lot of questions now in terms of the summer. So we're going to be interested in look, Gakpo starting in midfield as well. There's a lot of talking topics that we're going to be able to go and have. The game was an interesting game to watch from a tactical aspect, and that's what we're obviously going to do today. Going to check out some of your comments as well. No comments at the moment. Yeah, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it, people. Let me see where that is. There we go. Boom. Let me just move that out of the way. So as we said, people, record breaker Salah getting the goal on the 13th minute. Great play, really. I mean, Salah starts off the move, pops it off into Fabinho. Fabinho plays a ball over the top into Van Dijk. Van Dijk, obviously, at first, I thought, why didn't he head it at goal? Why on earth didn't he head it at goal? But look, great decision to play it into Salah. And Salah almost fumbled it. Look, he tried to go in and it's like he hit it with his left foot. It came off the crossbar or bobbled up and he had to hit it with his right foot. But look, got it in the end. And that was really, really, really good to see. Good start. As we're seeing, we had 15 shots to their 5. We had 5 on target to their 1. We had 3 big chances. They didn't have a big chance. Yes, they had the goal that was disallowed, but as a result of it being offside, that doesn't count as a chance. 308 passes to 244 for Brentford. So not as many passes as we would have hoped. We've had games we've had 50, 500 passes, 600 passes. So not as many passes, but in terms of ratio, look, a third of our passes are just under coming in the attacking third, which is really, really good to see. A lot of take-ons in this game. And we're going to discuss why I believe that is. That's 18 to their 18. And look, it does suggest that we had a lot of take-ons. We had more possession, more of the ball. more passes, but we had the same amount of take-ons. Their take-ons obviously came from being on the break. We had 18 take-ons, which is really, really interesting. 19 crosses to their 18 crosses. We had 17 tackles. They had a bit more. They had a couple more tackles than us with 19. We had 4 interceptions to their 8. And yeah, 19 fouls to their 10. So look, a really kind of different performance. But you could see from Klopp, it wasn't a vintage Liverpool performance. Look, we didn't go and blitz a team. It wasn't an attacking performance. It wasn't a stellar performance from a lot of names. But what we did, we managed the game really well. And I think that was really, really good to see. Fabinho being one of the players, that breaking up play really, really well, using the dark arts, little tactical fouls here, tactical fouls there. At the end, ball comes into the box, Fabinho goes and wins a foul and really alleviates pressure like in the 93rd or 4th minute. So it was really, really good to see that as well. But look, we're going to get into some of the stats before we look at certain players. We'll see before we do that, look, we've got to talk about Salah, man. I've been a massive critiquer, or I've been critiquing Salah a lot. I'm not sure if critique is actually a word, but I've been a massive critic. There we go. Critic of Salah this season. I've wanted more from him as a player. Look, we know he gets goals. We know he gets stats. I've wanted more from him, especially this season where, the reliance on him to get goals was big, but it was also to him being, it was also the reliance, there was a massive reliance on the club for him to be a real playmaker, getting on the ball, dictating play, dropping deep and collecting the ball, winning games on his own. In a similar fashion to how we've seen Hazard in the past, we've seen, Suarez do that for us when we've been in our real lowest points. And Salah hasn't done that at times. He hasn't done that at times. I think being able to critique him and look at his game and be like, look, he needs to improve there. A lot of talk about, did we spend too much money on him? I'm a massive person on that. And for me, the jury's still out in terms of that. But. The one thing you cannot deny about him, and big up to G, because he always talks about this, is the goals. Goals. This guy is able to get goals when we're rubbish, off the wing, headed goals, tap-ins. He is a goal scorer. And to get 30 goals in all competitions for the 4th season out of 6 that he's been at Liverpool, scoring 9 goals at Anfield in a row, more than any other player. He seems to be breaking records at every moment. And I think sometimes I'm even guilty of it. We forget to go and look at how good some of these players are. Now, I think he's a bozo. I do think he's an awkward player to watch. He's not my favourite player to watch on the eye. But that doesn't take away from how, he is a legend. Let's just put it that way. He is going to go down as a legend of the club. Listen, Gerrard, a lot of people put him as that top man. Him, Kenny Dalglish, listen, he's right up there if he's not the top. Him and Kenny Dalglish may be fighting for it at the moment. It's incredible what Salah's been able to do. The goals, he was just a real menace in this game. If we go and look at, let's look at shots. And look, this just proves it again. Salah really being involved in the shots. We're seeing there 3 shots, 2 on target, 1 goal from there. And not a lot of shots, but anytime we see Salah at the top of these charts, a lot of time we're winning, people. A lot of the time we're winning, so that is amazing. We're seeing Trent Alexander-Arnold obviously on top of the shots as well. Curtis Jones, interestingly enough, really starting to impose himself as an attacking threat. Got the goal last weekend, has come in now, and look, he's building on this form, and there's a lot of talk. When we talk about Curtis Jones, are we looking at a player potentially that is he going to be the future of Liverpool's midfield? Because when a player goes on a run like this, what do you like? How do Liverpool treat this run? Because this isn't the run like Bajcetic did. Bajcetic was playing games but was coming off 60th minute, 70th minute sometimes. Jones is playing almost to the death of the game. And he's playing every single game. There's a massive conversation about Jones, and we can have that later on. Konate with 1 shot as well and 1 on target, and then Bomo, of course, topping off the scoring charts for Brentford as well. Not a lot of shots in this game. As we've seen, Salah topping those chances there. If we move on to that shots, if you look at that, chances created, and again, Jota coming in, had a decent game as well. I think he went a bit under the radar, but was a menace a lot of the time. We saw him driving a lot. That left-hand side, I think, worked really, really well going forwards. Mo Salah, again, topping the chances created. And this is what I've wanted from Salah. I've wanted more consistent. And I mean, look, he's always created chances, but for me, it's what type of chances do I want him to be creating? And how do I want him to be playing? And maybe he can't play like that, but I can't take away from what his game is. And look, that is amazing to go and see. Mo Salah, real good performance from him. Matthias Jensen, who I actually want some people's opinions on him. I watched him. I really, really liked what he offered to that Brentford midfield. I think Brentford in general played really, really well. Tony, I really like. And Bomo, I really like. I think he's really, really underrated. Really underrated. You know, a lot of talk was about Ollie Watkins when they had the BMW, strike force of Ollie Watkins, Ben Rama, who's at West Ham currently, and Brian and Bomo. A lot of people, wanted Ollie Watkins. Ben Rama was the guy. Mboma just kind of went under the radar. And for me, he's proven he's really, really consistent. Like, Tony's, of course, the main man, but Tony isn't able to go and play the way he is if Mboma doesn't work off him. And I think Mboma does that really well. He's on the left sometimes. He's on the right. He takes set pieces. That finish that he done against Virgil, I mean, look, a couple inches more, that's a fantastic finish. The decision to obviously run across Virgil van Dijk really put him in the mud. Van Dijk treading water there. Robbo even coming in, and it looks like he might stumble it, and he still gets the finish off. It's a real good finish to go and see. And if I'm being honest, a lot of these players are people that I would have in the squad. Now, I'm not saying they'd be starters or I'd want them to be great players. Look, if Liverpool's midfield was sorted, having a Matthias Jensen off the bench from what I've gone and seen this season and into this game, really, really good. Tony, for me, is one that I'd really have as a starter. Really, really have as a starter, but we'll talk about that later on. And Mboma, for me, I mean, imagine having him as a Salah replacement off the bench. He's someone that gives you pace. He's really direct, plays off the right, shows that he can be a menace off the left as well, and can finish. Real young as well, and has played in the Premier League now and in the Championship. Now, someone that's, for me, really, really vetted, and it's the route that Liverpool could potentially go in. If I look at him in comparison to Elliott playing on the right, I know who I'd want. But, that's a conversation for another day. If we look again here at that was chances created, look at attacking third passes. And this is something that I was really, really happy with. And I think Salah's starting to show me he's got more. Look, this season, he's still got his goals, but he's evolved as a player. I think people are saying Salah's back to his best. I think Salah's role's a bit different. He's much wider than he has been. Of course, he still comes in, but he's not making the out-to-in runs all the time. Of course, if the ball's on the left-hand side of the pitch, if Robertson's got it, of course, he's got to get in on the back post. But when the ball's on our side, he's not really coming in anymore. A lot of the time he's out wide and he's feeding the ball into Trent, and Trent's whipping it in, and he's not necessarily in the box. But I'm seeing an evolution of Salah's game, and that's really, really good to see, in my opinion. We're seeing there 15 completed attacking third passes, the most of anyone on the pitch, and attempted 22. So as we're seeing, he's really, really getting involved in the build-up play, and that's what I've wanted. Andrew Robertson, again, we're seeing really, really getting involved. Curtis Jones, real high up. And look, I think what we're seeing down that left-hand side, and I'm going to talk about Curtis Jones, but I want to just plant that seed for you people, is his ability to really keep the ball. His ability to go and keep the ball in the final third, I think, is really important, because people talk about, I heard some people on the football terrace, other people talking about, Curtis Jones is doing the dirty work, but we don't really want that type of player. It's not about the dirty work. It's who else in our midfield keeps the ball in the attacking third the same way Gini Wijnaldum did, the same way Jones is doing right now. We didn't have that player. And it caused a lot of problems because we never really kept the ball in those areas. It was Henderson, hoofing the ball a lot of the time. We had Milner in there. But Cetic didn't necessarily keep the ball really well. Elliott didn't neither. Thiago maybe is the only one, but Thiago, he can't be relied on, and he is a bit risky with his passing and holding the ball as well. So for me, I'm seeing, Curtis Jones, seeing 15 attacking third passes, only misplacing 2 in the whole game. That's really, really good. Really, really good. And we're seeing there the most risky pass in the Liverpool team, Trent Alexander-Arnold there with 12 out of 17 passes. Look, we're seeing that the passes are actually decreasing for Trent, which is really, really interesting. But he's having more attacking third passes, so it seems like he's getting on the ball more. It's really, really good to see, though. And Vitali Janelt, again, 9 out of 11 attacking third passes, so had a really decent game in comparison to, obviously, when you look at how much possession Brentford had, really, really good to see. But yeah, as I'm saying, Mo Salah really, really like revitalized now. I think he's really understanding that role. We're starting to understand, pulling out wide, getting on the ball, being more of a traditional winger. I think we're seeing that a lot. He's not making the out to in run a lot. Even that pass that he's played into Fabinho, he's really deep when he plays that pass and bombs forward to go and get into the box for that one. And that's the Salah that we want to go and see. The one that scores goals, but also shows that he's got more to his game. And when he's not scoring goals, can still impact the game. And I think even if Salah didn't score a goal today, I think he had a really good game. I mean, at the end of the game, I was like, why did he get man of the match? And I rewatched it and I was like, you know what? I get why they kind of gave him man of the match. It was really, really important for us going forward. Looking here at take-ons, and this is something that is really good to see, is look, Trent, Gakpo, and Salah all having a lot of take-ons, and that's all coming from down our right-hand side. Now, it seems like this right-hand side, this curse of the right-hand side, is just it's gonna be something that's just gonna stay with us until Timbuktu. I think when we're looking at it, it is what it is. If you've got Trent bombing forward, making 3 out of 4 take-ons, which is still a really, really good number. Gakpo, who played in the 8 as well. We've had Elliott there, but they're really attacking-minded players. We've had Henderson there, but it hasn't really worked out. He's not been in the best of form. Salah as well, bombing down. It's always going to be problems. Obviously, we saw Frank Onyeka and Matthias Jensen, who, again, I spoke about. Really, really liked what he offered. Making a lot of take-ons, and take-ons really come from when you're breaking in transition. And it's really interesting, I think, playing Gakpo there. And I'm going to break down as to why I think that happened in a minute, and we'll get the formations up as well. Looking at the next one as well, that's for take-ons. When you look at passes yesterday, Van Dijk with the most passes in the team. Trent getting a lot of the ball in this game. As I said, getting a lot of the ball. The passes aren't as high as he's had. He's been in the 70s before. He's been in the 80s and the 90s. We didn't have as much possession as we would have liked. We didn't really control the game in the same way. Trent's getting a lot of the ball, but in further up the pitch, which means it seems like he's getting a lot of the ball, but it's not the same type of possession that he had before. Trent again, Robertson, 34 out of 39, being really useful the ball, very, very composed. Fabinho, who I think he's been really good. I think he's coming back to himself. I still think I still want a replacement. Not necessarily kick him out of the team. I think he needs some competition, but Fabinho has been really good. And Mo Salah, again, we're talking about passes. We haven't seen Mo Salah in the top 5 of passing in the last 3-4 games. So seeing him there, we're seeing he's really, really evolving his game. On to the next one here, which I wanted to look at, was ball recoveries. And this is from Trent. And Trent really topping the ball recoveries situation. And Trent's always been high for ball recoveries in the Liverpool squad. But I think when you're looking at Trent's that guy that once he loses the ball, it's like a pride thing. I think he wants to win it back really, really high. And I think it suits him. I think Trent used to try to win the ball back, and he did very often, high up from right back. And when he's doing that, it means that if he does miss the ball, it does cause a lot of issues, but we're seeing him really high. Curtis Jones, obviously the notable name there as well, making up the top 5, seeing that he's really, really getting involved. And we're seeing that 2 of our academy players are really trying to win the ball back, or trying to win it back as quickly as possible, with Trent in 6, and obviously Curtis Jones with 4. That's 10. And that's really, really good to go and see from players that are playing in and around the midfield. It means that we're able to kind of stop a lot of their attacks as well, which is really, really good to see. I would still like to go and see, Fabinho in that number there. Gakpo obviously played in the 8, but he's not there at all, and that did cause us a lot of issues. So it's really, really interesting to go and see. Going to get into some of your comments as well. Big up to yourselves. Trudon saying West Ham robbed of a pen. 100%, they were robbed of a pen. I do agree. He's saying we still need two midfielders. I think that's what you mean. Caesar saying, look, Leicester away might be techie next week. 100%. Leicester away might be techie next week. They might. Listen, you just don't know. But with this run of form, I think we can trust that Liverpool can offer something. Psychedelic Scientist saying that was a clear handball. West Ham should be 2-0 up. Oh, Jesus. Also, Also buy. Let me know what you meant by that. Oh, also big up Allison. 100 clean sheets for LFC. Facts. I did forget about that. 100 clean sheets for Allison. Really interesting though to see Reina so high up. To see Reina so high up at that table and Allison's nowhere near him. I think we do underestimate how good Reina was, and I do sometimes think. Imagine we had Reina in his peak now. Who's the better keeper? That's a really, really good debate to go and have. I'd have to actually look at the stats. But amazing feat from Alisson, who's arguably been our best player this season, if not the best. So, big up. Mr. Dare Say It Drift, big up to yourself, saying we still need to sign 3 midfielders this summer and let Curtis, Elliott and Bajcetic be the backups with Trent in midfield permanently. What do you think, Jerry? I agree. I still think we need to sign 3 midfielders. 2 midfielders maybe. I don't see Thiago leaving, unfortunately. I would like him to go. I think he's not been really good enough. Not to say he's not good enough, but he hasn't been good enough. He doesn't really suit what we're trying to do. And has he been integral to what we've done this season? No. Has he been integral to our form? No. Have we needed him on the back end of this stretch? No. He's been injured. He's come off the bench. Almost gave away a penalty at West Ham at the London Stadium. So he hasn't been great. So for me, I'd get rid of him, but I don't think we will. I think we're replacing Hendo. I think he'll be on the bench also. I think Elliott might go on loan, maybe back up as a right winger, but I don't think his future's in midfield if we get any midfielders coming in. You have to remember that obviously we hope to not buy another couple injury-prone midfielders. So the likes of Gravenberch or Ugarte or Mason Mount or McAllister that are being rumoured to come to Liverpool, they're going to be replacing the positions of Naby Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain and James Milner that apparently is leaving. So if they're all fit and firing, it's too many midfielders. I don't think Elliott fits in that unless we've got any injuries, of course. Bajcetic, of course. Curtis Jones, for me, I think that they will be fighting for a spot and veering for a spot. I think Bajcetic is, unfortunately, because of his age, he's probably the one that's going to be cut the most because of his experience. I think this is going to be a big preseason for Curtis Jones. I think if Curtis Jones starts the season, then we know where we're at with Curtis Jones and we know the respect that Klopp has for him, because we've seen a lot of the time Jones hasn't been his favourite. He's played Elliott a lot of games. He's played Henderson even though he's been really bad. Jones, a lot of the time, he's been injured or he's had an eye problem or he just hasn't. I mean, before he came in for the Chelsea game, he wasn't even in the squad, in the matchday squad. So none of us could have envisioned what kind of form Jones would be in. So 100%. Trent in midfield permanently, I'm not sure. I think when he's at right back, him coming into midfield overloads the midfield. So we've got an extra man in midfield and we've got possession. I think if you're playing him in midfield, we're going to have to go and buy another right back. But finding another right back that can go and overload the midfield as well, you're looking for essentially another Trent. And I don't know if you can find someone like that and if they're readily available, or someone that can come and play in midfield. I don't think it's really possible. But Zayn Hanif saying Salah back to his best. Yeah, I agree. I agree to a certain extent. Psychedelic saying, I'm glad we gave Curtis Jones that 5-year deal. Imagine the potential, 100%. And I think, look, even if Liverpool don't want to go and keep Curtis Jones, which is still a possibility, we're just not too sure. Selling Curtis Jones with a 5-year deal under his belt after the form that he's had, imagine a Brighton or a Southampton if they were to stay up, or West Ham, Brentford even, looking to go and purchase a Curtis Jones. You're going to have to pay about 30 million. 35 million at this moment in time to go and get Curtis Jones. If we're looking at Gallagher for that price, Jones has done, what has Gallagher done this season? I haven't seen a run of form from Gallagher like this, and we're interested in purchasing someone like Gallagher, apparently. So 100% 35 million for Curtis Jones, so that could still up the funds for Liverpool. That's not something that I'd want, but that does give you that kind of that flexibility. Caesar saying, as good as Salah's form is recently, I struggle to see how he improves from this point going forwards. Him, Trent and Jones form up all purple patches, in my opinion. Maybe so, but we've got to extend that purple patch. We just have to, man. John, big up to John saying, nah, Jones got to earn the right to start regularly. Right now, there's no competition. When the club reinforce, we'll know more about what Jones is made of and see if he can fight for his place. Yeah, 100% agree. But we've got to remember, Jones was saying that there's no competition. Thiago's been available. And Jones isn't playing on the right side of midfield where he's got Henderson to compete with. The only person that's playing on the left is Thiago, and he's keeping Thiago out of the team. And a lot of people are going to tell me that Thiago's our best midfielder. He's so important. We can't get rid of him. We've got to keep him. He's amazing. It's only injuries. Thiago's been back. I know he's injured now, but he's been back and he's been coming off the bench. And what's really, really interesting is that at the West Ham game, he came on for Henderson and played on the right side of midfield. So Thiago has actually moved positions as a result of Jones's form. I think we still got to put a bit more respect on what he's done, because Klopp could have easily just gone and played, you know what, I'm going to play Henderson, Elliott, and Fabinho. He could have easily said, you know, we're going to play Gakpo there. He's done that this season and not played Jones. We played Gakpo in midfield yesterday. So look, 100%. I think it will be good to see what he's made of when reinforcements come in. But then again, yeah, it's just interesting to see. It's interesting to see. I mean, if you're buying that player, we're not buying a player to compete with Jones, though. We should be buying a player that's 10 times better. Now, if we're buying a player that Jones is able to compete with, that's another blunder in the transfer window, because it means that he's not that good. I don't know. Interesting. It's an interesting point. Psychedelic saying United are in the mud if they lose tonight. LOL, the pressure's building. You can see it already, 100%. K-Mac saying Man U getting all the refs. No wonder they are managed by Howard Webb. The brown envelope being slipped in. Big up to Jonathan saying, all I want to see is Liverpool playing Champions League football next season. Right now, West Ham giving us a hand, 100%. K-Mac said, I said it 1-0, JJ. It was a massive win. It was. Guna Lee saying, just here for my flowers, thanks. We beat Newcastle for you lot. Send my check. Guna Lee, you had to beat Newcastle for yourself. Listen, that game, I don't know how you guys turned it around, because in that first half, Guna Lee, it was brazy. I saw Murphy looking like Salah cutting in on the left foot and hitting the post. I was seeing, Isaac doing Isaac things, Joe Linton bodying people. It looked crazy, and you guys looked like you were crumbling. But you got to give it to Odegaard, man. You got to give it to that brother. He's an amazing player, man. Amazing player. If there's any player I want from Arsenal, if I'm being honest, it wouldn't be Saka, it wouldn't be Martinelli, it wouldn't be Partey, it wouldn't be any of those players. It'd be Odegaard. Odegaard is that guy, man. That guy, I really, really like him, man. K-Mac saying, JJ, would you swap Nunes for Tony? Come on, people. Of course I would. I would swap him in a heartbeat. Wallahi, on my life, God willing, please. I'd swap him. Listen, Nunes, thanks for the memories, man. Thanks for the memories. I don't see how this brother gets better. There's just basic fundamentals. I think he can be effective. I think he can still, have a good game. I'm not taking that away from him. But on a consistent basis, he's fumbling the ball, the touches. He's just a funny player to watch. And I can't believe I fell for it. The compilations killed me, and watching Benfica against us, it killed me, man. And I'm in the mud now. I'm on the train and I can't get off. It looks like it's going to crash, and it's crashing this season, man. I thought he'd get 15 in the league. I thought he'd get 15. Jesus. Big up to RJ. Make sure we're liking and subscribing. Donovan Davidson. Big up to Donovan saying, Thiago is class, but just so injury prone. Yeah. I mean, look, he's good, but not good enough. We got Donovan then saying, look, pre-2022, I trusted the player purchases by LFC, but now I don't. The off-season is so crucial. If we want to challenge again, but those purchases are key, 100%. We got Mark in the building. We got to Mark saying, that flick that Tony did was outrageous. Listen, Tony was outrageous. Did you see his nutmeg on, was it Robertson? I think it was Robertson he done the nutmeg on. Oh, my days. People. Tony, listen, if Liverpool had any cojones, they'd send Nunes on loan and they'd get Tony in. I'm telling you, Liverpool fan holds the ball up, scores goals, can score penalties, great in the air, links the play well, got a bit of flair, got a bit of bite to him. I thought Nunes would be Tony. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you, man. He's a top quality. And look, you might be paying 30 million. You might be paying 35 million. I'm telling you, you could get a deal out of Brentford. You could squeeze Tony out of them, man. So look, even if it's that 40 million, man, I think you do it. You do it. Helps that homegrown quota. He's like a mix between, like, I don't know, man. He's just a good player. Just a real good player. I'd have him, man. I'd have him. Sackler saying we need all the luck to get to 400%, man. 100%. We need luck. But look, man. Look, we're gonna get the the tactics board out, shall I say, and we're going to go and analyze this, man. I think it's interesting to go and see. I should have had this prepped already, you know. See me being lazy. Oh, there you go. I can share it. See that quick. I assume you guys can see this, so cool. 4-3-3. Make that. Hold on. There we go. 4-3-3. Let's make the players massive. Cool. Let me just check that you guys can see this. Amazing. So, of course, we started with Alisson. And whilst I'm doing this as well, I think I want you guys to give me your ratings in the comments as well. So, as I'm putting Alisson in down there, I'm going to talk about Alisson, and I want you guys to give a rating, and we're going to discuss like his game in general, and I think we're going to break it down that way. Yeah, so Alisson for me, good game, man. Good game. Really, really solid. Proved his worth. Couple times. I don't know. I'd like him to be a bit stronger. What I mean by that is, I remember Konate challenged Tony. Tony fell over and hit Alisson. Alisson dropped to the floor, and he does that a lot. He does this kind of flopping goalkeeper type of nonsense. I wanted to be a bit more like Schmeichel. Like, that's the kind of presence you've got about yourself. Own it sometimes. I don't want you fumbling and falling about a lot, pretending to be knocked out. Like, that does annoy me a bit. That's just on a personal note. But for me, Alisson, great game. Couple good saves, claimed the ball a lot. Good finish from Mbeumo. Could he have done better? I'm not too sure. But overall, didn't have a lot to do, man. Didn't have a lot to do. So, of course, he was there. You guys, what are you guys saying? Guys, are you not like... What rating would you go and give him then? If I gave him a 7, is that cool? Or a 6? 7, 6? I'm going to give him a 7. So, yeah, it's going to have to be a 7. We've got Trent on that right back spot. Trent obviously in there, inverting into midfield, which we'll obviously go and do. Robertson, who for me had a decent game. I'd probably give him a 7 out of 10, although defensively sometimes we're getting caught out. Virgil... touched for the very first time like a virgin. That tune's a banger. Big up to Madonna. Fabinho, I'm going to run through all these players first, man. Just get them in so we can chat about them. Gakpo, Jesus. This looks mad. Salah, even now when I say it. Nunes, no, Jota. And Nunes, Jesus, this guy, man, this guy. So cool. We've got that, people. We've got Donovan Davidson saying 7. Yeah, I'll give him a 7 as well. With Trent, probably give him another what? I'll give him maybe a 7 today. I think he was good. I didn't think he was as influential. Got on the ball a lot. Did some really, really good passes. To be fair, this brother should have scored. And look, we've got to talk about that finish. I think we've got to divert, man. That Nunes miss. What else does Trent need to do to give this guy a goal? I know a lot of people are talking about, he made the run. Like look, big up to Cameron Elder. Cameron Elder saying, judge Nunes next year. Troy Deeney on Match of the Day said Nunes has all the attributes of a high ceiling. He does, I hear you. He does. Werner did as well. Who else had high attributes? Depay did. Didn't make it at United. Bare players did. Let's just be honest, man. Loads of players did. And for me, I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, I'm not really feeling it, man. I'm not feeling it. For me, he's got to finish that. He hasn't finished that. So Trent hasn't got an assist again. That's on Nunes. And yeah, but look, the way we played, if we look at the game, we go to kind of the 3 that we're playing in. What am I doing? Was in possession. It was like this, which was really, really interesting to go and see. A lot of the time, it was something like that when we played, which was really interesting. To go and see. We did seem to play like this a lot. Curtis Jones maybe there, maybe Jota out wider, making those runs. But look, our formation was a bit jagged, and I think I want to highlight, first of all, the role of Gakpo. I think a lot of us were surprised seeing Gakpo in the 8. Really, really interesting, though. Looking back on the game, and if we go and look at the stats again to go and link it in terms of take-ons, we've got Gakpo there making three attempts or take-ons, 2 successful take-ons in the game. Second to none other than Trent, who did that also. Gakpo actually allowed us to drive with the ball, and it really reminded me of when we had Oxlade-Chamberlain when he first signed for Liverpool. He got the ball, was able to drive at that midfield, and commit defenders, win the foul. Sometimes he did lose the ball. He gave us a lot of height in midfield as well, but I think it was his ability to go and get on the ball and drive with it. Henderson doesn't do it as well, and it meant that in attack at times, it did even sometimes look like this. Him almost running at us with the 10, and he tried to go and feed Salah a couple times, and he's running at the defense. And when you've got that behind you, four like attackers, that's really going to be lethal. And it was good to go and see a really, really positive kind of move from Klopp in that regard. But Gakpo there, not really doing the defensive work like we thought. And that I wanted to say that did cause some issues, because when Tony, for instance, done that flick to Mbeumo, and then Mbeumo messed up the cross, he came down that side and Konate kind of got done. And Konate is having the difficulty kind of covering that space as well, which is really, really difficult to cope with. And look, people are still understanding it, but it is a lot to ask from Konate. I'm worried that he does get burnt out. I don't want to see that, but look, hopefully he can handle that pressure. Gakpo's role really, really interesting. I think he had actually a decent game to go and see. I've got to lie, my head is turning with Gakpo. At first, I wasn't the biggest fan. But my head is turning with Gakpo, and I've got to give it to you guys in the comments, because you guys, listen, you guys were right. Looking again, obviously Trent being able to go and get on the ball. Trent's now showing he's got a bit more to his game than I thought in midfield. And I'll hold my hands up again. There's 2 players now I'm holding my hands up to. He's able to go and drive with the ball a lot. He's taking shots now as well, which is really, really good to see. The distribution, the passing. He's getting much better at that, not forcing that Hollywood pass a lot of the time. And when we saw it, you play it into Nunes, that's great. But we don't want to see at every moment. He's not spamming the cross like he used to always do. So it's really, really good to go and see. He's actually picking out his crosses, and it's good. That's really, really good to see, man. Really good to see. Virgil van Dijk, look, good game from him, really. Dealt with the situations as best as he could. Of course, it's really interesting because he did get caught for that offside goal. Now, look, you knew he was trying to go and play offside. Would I have played offside there? No. Even if I had the pace, I wouldn't, because you just deal with that. It's a bit safer. This offside, if he's not offside and Berman scores a goal, and the game's 1-1. And we're looking at their game thinking, oh no, here Brentford coming through set pieces, they're always going to be a problem. Obviously, we remember Tony obviously had a set piece, a great free kick that just went off the mark. Tony, again, that's my player right now, man. Tony's my guy. Curtis Jones, Fabinho, let's look at Fabinho. Real good game, man. Good interceptions, as we discussed, winning the ball a lot in these types of areas and stopping the likes of Onyeka, Yanal and Jensen, being able to go and turn and play those forward passes. And a lot of the time they had to go and play back, and then when the ball went back to their defenders, the ball went over the top into Mbeumo. So it meant that we delayed their counter-attack a lot of the times, and it was good to go and see that from Fabinho. I think he's showing a lot of form. He's redeeming himself, man. And I think, look, we all loved Fabinho when he was at his best. He was moving like an Uber driver. Still reminds me of an Uber driver when he plays. But as long as he's playing well, it is where it is at this moment in time. Curtis Jones, for me, again, Liverpool's best midfielder. Of course, Trent is coming into midfield. But in terms of the midfielders that we've got, he's been our best midfielder again. Great performance, keeping the ball really well, winning the ball. Really, really solid option. And having someone in there like that understands the role, understands what he needs to do in terms of keeping the ball and his ability to keep the ball. Technically, really, really good. Great example, someone on the terrace spoke about, look, before Henderson came, we bought Henderson as a 22-year-old and everyone was like, oh, Henderson's rubbish. And we've kept Henderson, and look at that. In terms of technical ability, Jones is far superior. And imagine having a Henderson emerge out of Curtis Jones, a leader emerge from Curtis Jones as a result of being in the team. I think that's really, really, really important. He could potentially offer us that, and having someone with that quality as well, miles better. Like, look, they're both at the age of 22. I think Curtis Jones is a far better player than Henderson was at the age of 22. And we haven't had to sign a player like that. So, look, it is someone to go and look at as well in that position. Robertson, again, going forward, kicks the ball really sweet, has a lot of energy. For me, though, we're getting caught in the wide areas and we're not really dealing with it that well. You know, look, we've played against Brentford, we've played against West Ham, who haven't had the best quality in those wide areas, but have caused us issues. You know, Benrahma Paquetá scored against in the London Stadium. Against Fulham, you know, Harry Wilson down that right-hand side. We had Tsimikas play there, and he caused a lot of issues. Great couple touches, fluffed his line sometimes, but showed his quality. I'm looking now, and the same thing happened again. Robertson being sucked in because we want to go and press high. And I know that's the risk that we're willing to take, but it's causing me a lot of issues. And I'm not sure. I think we're going to need to go and sign the left-sided centre-back. I think if we're going to play this way, sign the left-sided centre-back so we're a bit more solid, someone that's also comfortable on the ball and can keep the ball and tick it over really well, but it's maybe not as adventurous going forward, and have Robertson as an option to come off the bench. I think as he's getting older as well, that's maybe something that will suit him a bit better. Moving on, Jota again. Decent game from Jota. Created a lot of chances, linked the ball really well, was a threat, pressured the ball a couple of times, you know, won the ball off the Brentford players, and it showed his energy. Kind of vintage Jota performance without the goal. Nothing really to talk about with him. Salah, again, record breaker, gets the goal. Doing this a lot as well, now linking up, allowing Gakpo to float in here and getting the ball and linking the pass. Actually played the ball into Fabinho here, made the run in there. Van Dijk for the set piece, heads it down into Salah, and Salah scores. Boom. So we did see a lot, kind of great work from. Apologies. Jeez, how did we do this? Cool. We did see good work from Salah, man. Good work from Salah, as described already. So that's really good. Yeah, that's something. That's what we're working with, isn't it? Something like that. But yeah, and then Nunes. I need to talk about Nunes, man. I need to talk about Nunes because Nunes for me is. I think he plays better off the left. I think he's actually a winger. We're trying to go and play up front. I don't think he plays as a traditional striker. I think if he was playing for Crystal Palace, West Ham, where there's spacing behind, he'd be a massive problem. We don't have a lot of that spacing behind. And he looked devoid of technique, devoid of ideas. That in the centre, he looked like a fish out of water. And for me, I would like to go and see him play off the left now, and maybe we just have him as a winger, as an outlet. Because if he's going to play down the centre, he just doesn't offer us anything. He doesn't control the ball really well. His game playing back to goal isn't great. Gakpo's far superior. Jota is far superior. Bobby is far superior. We could even play Jones then. Jones would back to goal play better than him. It's really difficult to go and look at, man. And for me, Nunes is just... We're saying give him time. And I know Zayn, big up to Zayn. Zayn saying, look, Klopp said he's a long-term project. I understand that. This long-term project, though, how does it work if you've got Diaz in the team as well? And Jota's on form, and Diaz is on form, and Salah's on form. Nunes doesn't play for me. He stays on the bench. He remains on the bench, and he comes off the bench. And I think he's going to become the type of Origi. Sam Max saying, it's not that he doesn't offer anything. That's wrong. He just doesn't get any service, and that's the problem from midfield. I disagree, Sam Max. He gets a lot of service. Look at the pass that Trent gave into him. He's missed the most big chances after Haaland in the Premier League. Haaland's got 38 goals. He's got 9. This is not a brother that's not getting service. Not to you, but like Hussam likes to say, let's cut the crap. It's nonsense. Like, Nunes gets... Everything's been geared towards Nunes. We're actually playing him down the centre to play towards Nunes. Salah's had to change his game because of Nunes. We played a 4-4-2 because of Nunes. We played Nunes out wide because of Nunes, because he wasn't working up front. We still tried to play him. Everything's been about Nunes this season. So for me, he doesn't offer anything playing down the middle. He doesn't go and hold the ball. He doesn't control it well. He doesn't play with his goal back to goal. He's a threat in behind, and he always will be, with that lethal pace, making the right movement. His movement's good. His ability's good. but he's got to finish his dinner, and he's not finishing his dinner. And a lot of people are going to tell me, look back to Benfica, his first season, really, really bad. Played 28 games, got 6 goals, and was really, really bad. Next season he just exploded, and some people telling us to wait. Maybe so, and I might be wrong. Maybe he goes and scores 30 goals in the Premier League, 25 in the Premier League, and we're looking at him being like, wow, we've actually got a really, really striker, really, really good striker. But right now, I just don't see it from him, man. I don't see it. And if we've got Salah that can score goals, Jota that can score goals, Gakpo's proved that he can score goals and help the team as well, and we get a couple other midfielders in midfield as well, where Gakpo's not playing in midfield, I think he plays up front. I think Gakpo plays up front, and I think Núñez is an option off the bench for me. Paul Smith saying we need to get rid of Núñez noodles and sign Tony. Marco saying Núñez don't really help our team. Spirit saying I don't get how our fan base have confidence in Núñez becoming good. I don't think he will ever be a good player. I think he might be a good striker in terms of like he's effective, he's good. I don't think he won't ever like learn how to control the ball properly. Learn how to deal with, like a couple times you can see, like, yeah, he played a great pass into Jota when we were on the counter. And I know Burma got and won a yellow card as a result of that. And I was surprised when he played that pass. I shouldn't be surprised seeing Núñez play that pass. I shouldn't be surprised that looking, wow, Núñez made a really, really good through ball. This is an elite level striker playing for one of the best teams in the world. This isn't acceptable. It isn't. And look, he needs to finish his dinner. I'm like I said, I think there is a conversation I'm not saying get him out of the club. I say that as a joke. And look, if someone offered me the deal to go and get Tony, for instance, as a swap, I'm doing it all day long. I'm not saying Núñez should leave the team. I think he's just someone that we'd have off the bench. And I think having a player like that off the bench, why not? Imagine having someone with that type of pace off the bench causing loads of problems. Having a Gakpo that's firing doesn't work, you put a Núñez on. Jota that's firing or Diaz on the left, that don't work, you put Núñez on. I think that could be a massive, 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 massive problem. Marcus saying how long we giving him? I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure how long you give him. I mean, what do you mean by give him? Give him until you get rid of him, or give him until he becomes a main man at Liverpool? Do you think he will ever be the main man? That's another question. I'm not too sure. Bench player for 8 mils pass. That's not our issue, bro. We can't look at the figures. I know it's mad. That might be what he is. And look, if he becomes, just that guy that comes off the bench and becomes a cult hero, maybe that's been his destiny, man. So look, it is where it is, man. It is where it is. But look, overall, we had a decent performance. Good to see that type of movement. Gakpo in the 8 really showing that he can drive with the ball from midfield, offering us that kind of Oxlade-Chamberlain-esque dynamism. And I know Klopp likes that a lot. Maybe he knew that this game would be quite tight and wanted to actually catch them in the breakthrough with a lot of pace. But yeah, we're seeing a lot of consistency now in the team. Obviously, I think towards the end of the season, I think Núñez will play a lot of the games up front to kind of get him used to it. I think they're still trying to take a punt on that. I do think Gakpo plays down the middle, though. We'll be interested to go and see, man. Interested to go and see. Going to get into some of your comments before you head out. If you've got any comments, let me know. It's been another tactics, but make sure we're smashing the like, people. I'm going to look into some of your comments. Let's go. Donovan Davison saying that miss by Núñez yesterday was so typical of him this season. Facts. It was. Mr. Dara saying Curtis has been fit for the majority of the season, but his recovery days coincide with his rest days that were on game days. Oh, okay, maybe so. Which doesn't make any sense. It's crazy. But yeah, you know what? Before we head out, I'm going to give some of these players a rating. Why not? Let's go in here. Yeah, so we gave Alisson a 7. I've given Konate I'll give him a 7 as well. I'll give Van Dijk a 7 and Robbo maybe a 7. I give Fabinho an 8. I give Trent an 8. I give Jones a 7.5. No, I can't. I give Fabinho a 7.5. I give Jones a 7.5 also. Maybe a 7.8, 8, 9, maybe a 7.9. I think he's a bit better than Fabinho. I might be being biased. Who knows? I give Gakpo a 7 as well, a 7.5. I think he was good in midfield. Núñez, I give a 6. Jota, I give a 7.5, and I give this man a 9. I give this man a 9, man. I think you got to give it to him after his record-breaking game, man. So look, mad, interesting there. Those are my ratings. Let me know what you think of those ratings, you people in the building. A lot of you guys might have your disagreements, but let me know. But yeah, stay tuned, people. This week, as we'll be having in the midweek. I know obviously we haven't got a game. Our next game's actually on next Monday, if I believe. Yes, next Monday. So we've got a long wait until our game against Leicester. People need to catch up with their kind of games in hand, and so we're gonna have to see where we are in the table at the end of that. So we obviously will be bringing you a preview show for that game. That's going to be towards the end of next week, looking at Thursday, Friday, potentially Saturday. But in the midweek, we're going to have 2 shows. We're going to be talking about Mr. Milner himself and McAllister. So if you guys want to go and find out some more information about McAllister, looking at a deep analysis into him, looking at his stats, where he came from, what teams he came from, what roles he's played, how he played in the World Cup, looking at how he plays for Brighton, and how he could potentially fit in Liverpool's midfield, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. You're not going to get this content anywhere else. I'm telling you for a fact. No one's grafting as hard as this. So, guys, make sure you're heading over. Obviously, subscribing, liking the video, putting a notification bell on the channel as well. So, anytime I'm about to drop a video, you guys are there, ready, waiting. And, guys, anyone catching this on the replay, please let me know in the comments what you thought about this game. How important do you think it is? Just ending it there. Do I think top 4 is a possibility? With the way United are playing, I do think so. Do I want top 4? No, because I don't think our season deserves it. I think we need a real reality check, and I think us playing in Europa League will actually bed us, set us up better for the future. I think if we get Champions League, the players become complacent again, and that's what I don't want. I want some of these players to go and feel the pain. I want a better Salah. I want a better Virgil van Dijk. I want a better Henderson, a better Konate, better Matip. Anyone that stays, I want a better version of them because we know that they can offer that, man. So look, but until next time, people, it's been the Jerry James Show, and we're out, people. What we're saying here is, decent ratings, but collectively should have scored more on goal. Exactly. It's like saying we're not going to bottle top 4, hopefully. Exactly, man. But look, until next time, people, it's been the Jerry James Show. Take care. Have a good evening. Have a good bank holiday weekend. And we are, what's going on here? People. Yeah, take it easy.